The Strong National Museum of Play has announced the 12 games nominated in 2024 for the World Video Game Hall of Fame: Asteroids, Elite, Guitar Hero, Metroid, Myst, Neopets, Resident Evil, Tokimeki Memorial, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, Ultima, and You Don't Know Jack. The finalists this year have the honor of competing to be in the 10th class of inductees to the World Video Game Hall of Fame, the Strong's International Center for the History of Electronic Games director John Paul C. Dyson said in a statement. Even 10 years in, there's no shortage of deserving contenders that have had enormous influence on pop culture or the game industry itself. These games span decades. Asteroids is an icon of the late 70s arcade. Myst showed the potential of CD-ROM technology in the 90s. Neopets became a staple of browser-based, free games as we entered the 2000s. And Guitar Hero, which is less than 20 years old, has already proven its staying power. The public will vote for their favorites on the World Video Game Hall of Fame website, and the 3 top games will be added to a ballot. The other ballots are submitted by the International Selection Advisory Committee, which the Strong Museum said includes journalists and scholars familiar with the history of video games and their roles in society. The public vote is open from March 14th to March 21st. The inductees will be announced on May 9th during an in-person ceremony. Last year, Barbie fashion designer, Computer Space, The Last of Us, and Wii Sports were added to the World Video Game Hall of Fame, beating out games like Age of Empires, Angry Birds, Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare, FIFA International Soccer, GoldenEye 007, NBA 2K, Quake, and Wizardry. So far, 44 games have been recognized as part of the World Video Game Hall of Fame. In a news release, the Strong Museum outlined what makes each game worthy of a spot in the World Video Game Hall of Fame. Asteroids, released in 1979, Atari's Asteroids offered players challenging gameplay, glowing graphics, and intense sound effects in an action-packed space setting. The game quickly supplanted the popular Space Invaders in many arcades and sold more than 70,000 arcade units, becoming Atari's best-selling coin-operated game. The home version of the game, made available on the Atari 2600, took the game's popularity to new heights, bringing it into millions of living rooms. Elite, developed in Great Britain and released in 1984, Elite pioneered innovative 3D graphics and the idea of open-world games by allowing players to control ships that roamed the galaxy. The expansive universe and strategy elements helped to spawn a generation of games with endless play possibilities, such as Grand Theft Auto 3 and EVE Online. Elite proved to be one of the most popular games of the British personal computer boom in the 1980s, and it dramatically impacted the design of other games. Guitar Hero, launched in 2005, Harmonix's Guitar Hero challenged players to unleash their inner rock star by following on-screen notes and strumming to the beat of popular music on a plastic guitar. Its wide appeal, licensed music, and social gameplay spawned other similar titles, including the popular Rock Band. Activision, which acquired the game's rights, released versions of Guitar Hero for nearly every platform, including home consoles, computers, and handheld and mobile devices. The Guitar Hero series has sold more than 25 million units worldwide and more than 60 million tracks, earning more than $2 billion. Metroid, Nintendo's Metroid launched in 1986 and inserted players into a futuristic world brimming with innovative adventure and evocative music. The game combined the platforming of Nintendo's Super Mario Bros. And non-linear story elements from The Legend of Zelda, offering a new gameplay experience. The protagonist, Samus, also gave the gaming industry its first playable human female character in mainstream video games. The game launched a franchise with 13 core titles that has sold more than 20 million units worldwide. Myst, released by Broderbund in 1993, Myst welcomed players to a mesmerizing world of mysterious puzzles and haunting vistas. The game harnessed early CD-ROM technology, which offered high storage capacity but slow loading times. The discs paired well with the slow-paced, contemplative style of the game, though, and allowed the creation of an immersive world. Myst became the best-selling computer game in the 1990s, selling more than 6 million copies. Neopets. When Neopets debuted in 1999, it quickly became a staple of browser-based, free-to-play games. The online world of Neopia allows its players to explore various lands, care for pets, and engage in a robust social component, complete with opportunities to chat with other players and form guilds. Neopets also showcased the potential of the internet for gaming and served as a testing ground for cyber safety mechanisms and immersive advertising. At its peak in 2005, Neopets had 25 million active users, and it continues to be popular more than 2 decades later. Resident Evil. Although it wasn't the first horror video game, Resident Evil, or Biohazard as it was known in Japan, was the first game to popularize the survival horror genre. Created by game director Shinji Mikami and released by Capcom in 1996, Resident Evil spawned a billion-dollar media franchise, while it helped demonstrate that video games could offer mature entertainment for older teenagers and adults. As of 2022, films based on the Resident Evil franchise have collective grossed more than $1.2 billion. SimCity, released by Maxis in 1989, SimCity helped expand the audience for video games by offering a city-building simulator that appealed to adults as much as children. Drawing from real-life principles of urban design, it allowed players to build their own city and respond to ever-changing problems. The game spawned numerous sequels and offshoots, such as World Video Game Hall of Fame inductee The Sims, and influenced the development of many city-building simulation games and even real-time strategy games, like Command and Conquer and Age of Empires. Tokimeki Memorial. Konami's Tokimeki Memorial brought a cohesive narrative, colorful graphics, unparalleled depth of choices, and engaging gameplay to the dating simulator genre after its launch in 1994. While it was never localized outside Japan, its impact on game design was widespread, paving the way for graphic adventure games, visual novels, dating sims, and role-playing games to invest more in personal relationships as part of their gameplay loop. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Launched by Neversoft/Activision in 1999, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater brought the sport and culture of skateboarding into millions of households. Players flew from ramps and jumps, using the environment as a playground to bust out high-point tricks, all with a memorable soundtrack. The legendary Tony Hawk himself said the game simultaneously ignited my career and overshadowed it. Its success led to sequels that have generated approximately $1.4 billion in sales. Ultima, the first Age of Darkness, helped define the computer role-playing genre. Designed by Richard Garriott and released in 1981, Ultima combined role-playing mechanics, a massive fictional world, and fantasy and science fiction themes. Ultima's innovative gameplay laid the foundation for one of the most enduring and influential gaming franchises of all time, with 8 sequels. Many top game designers credit it with inspiring their later role-playing games, such as Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy. You Don't Know Jack. The developers of You Don't Know Jack reimagined the television game show format for home video game markets. Debuting in 1995, You Don't Know Jack combined witty questions with humor in a multiplayer party game. Sequels and spin-offs continue to find success on Facebook and mobile platforms, and steaming versions were extremely
Row 18, plot 20.